So sometimes it's just really hard to come up with a whole song, right? But generally, it's not hard to come up with like 4 bars, is it? So I'm going to start a short series of videos where I show you how to turn 4 bars into a full out song.
All is music. Y'all lose music. Music. Oh yeah, that's right.
Hey, what up? Welcome to Oyama's Music. My name is Ed Oyama and I'm here to help. I just came up with this. I'm so proud of it. I'm here to help beginning beat makers break through. And on a budget too. So all the bees. Anywho, yeah, like I was saying, sometimes you just can't put a whole song together, but you got 4 pretty decent bars. Where do you go from there? So let me just paint the picture and return this to where it was when I started. So I made a loop of 4 bars, and it took me about, I don't know, I set myself a timer for 10 minutes. I think I finished my 4 bars at about 5 or 6 minutes. So it wasn't too hard for me. But picture this, you start with the bass loop. I found a preset that I really liked on a new instrument that I got, and I'm feeling it, and it goes like this. Pretty sweet. Just loops now, because the loopy thing is on. Cool, now what? Well, I dropped some drums on it. Basic elements, bass and drums. Now we got... Oops. I forgot. I put one more thing on. Let me turn that off for a moment. Well, one thing is, if you got the bass and the drums, where do you go from here? This is already a pretty good start to an intro, and I do this trick way more often than I probably should, but I get away with it more often than I should too, I think, because it sounds different with different songs, and you don't always have to start it with just the bass and the drums. But bass and the drums is a great place to start. What I do is I open up my master thingy thing, and I usually put a few things on it. Now, this might look a little complicated, but and maybe I can do a video on this later, but it's a compressor, it's an EQ8, and it's a reverb in something called an audio rack, I think. And anywho, EQ8 is pretty cool. Unfortunately, it doesn't come with Ableton Live Lite, but there are workarounds for that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play with the frequency thingy thing. And now it's what we call high pass, because only the high frequencies is passing through. It sounds like this now. Except, oops, this EQ8 is on the memory modes, on the bass. I actually have one on the master, and that sounds like this when I put it up here. Like a really bad radio or something. It's kind of cool. Of course, you don't want to do that the whole sound, every effect in moderation, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this. I click this, automation mode. Now we're looking at, I can actually program or kind of draw in that automation. All right, so that's a pretty good start. Let's do another thing. Turn off automation. I'm gonna grab a quarter note. You could also do this with a device called Beat Repeat, but since it's just 3 tracks, it's no big deal to do this by hand. Control E, after you select it, breaks it into a new piece. Duplicate it. It's repeating now. Kind of neat. Well, let's do that even smaller now. This is kind of a classic dance move. If you think about it, you've probably heard it a billion times, right? Some of you know what I'm talking about too, and you're like, dude, Ed, that's so basic. But This is for the beginning beat maker. So what I did is I duplicated it big chunks, like here, like we'd call that a quarter note. Then you do it as eighth notes. Then you da 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 da. So it's like do 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 do. It sounds like this. Hey, there we go. Last thing, I'm gonna add this. This is called an uplifter. I found it on a service called Splice, which is kind of like, I don't even know how to describe it. Netflix for samples. That's probably an awful description, but basically you buy a membership, a subscription for like $10, you get a ton of samples every month. And it's a massive library. It's great. Search for uplifter or riser. You get great stuff like this. All right. Brace yourselves. Here it comes. All right. We're going to play the whole thing from the start now with 3 elements. First element, where did we start? We turned on that high pass filter, kind of gently opening it up so we have the bass coming in strong, but no bass at the start. Then after that, we added this kind of a beat repeating kind of roll thing. And last, we added the uplifter. Hey, right? Am I right? Am I right? We got something that sounds like an intro now. Now, if I let you hear the rest of it, it'll kind of make sense. All right. All right, and we're out of the intro and we're into the section. I'm gonna play a brief preview where I'm going next with this series, so you can kind of hear what I did. I'll explain in the next video, but here it is. There's a lot going on there. I'm not going to explain it just now. That's enough for this video. We got out of the intro. We took our 4 bars. We made it into 8 bars, basically. You could even just do that 4 bars again, and it sounds like the proper start of the song because that intro kind of eases you in. Anywho, the one element that I added to was this little cymbal here. That was a sample. You could have done that with the drum kit too, however, but the whole thing, the sum is greater than its parts. So yeah, just these little things. And you don't want to overthink stuff, especially when you're starting off. Honestly, I'm not that far, and I've only been at this since the beginning of the year. Long-time musician, first year producing. But these are little tricks that help me get out of the intro because you don't want to spend so much time on the intro that you get bored or frustrated. I find that I can finish a track a week so long as I'm not bored and I'm not frustrated. And the number one way for me to not get bored or frustrated is to work faster. So anywho, that is my fast and simple intro. I often, like 90% of my intros are some variation of this. And again, I probably shouldn't get away with it as often as I do, but it just works. And there's a lot of different ways you can intro a song besides this, but I just don't like getting stuck in the intro and overthinking stuff. I just want to get out of it so I can get into the real part of the song and get done with it because you learn to finish songs. I've learned to finish songs by finishing songs, and I think you can too. Anyway, that's it for today. That's quite enough. Did you have an aha moment or a great insight? Is this an effect that maybe you wouldn't use in an intro? I mean, you could use it anywhere, right? How does this help you? Leave me a note in the comments. Actually, that's one of the best ways that I can actually connect with you and see who you are because I love connecting. I actually can't always see. I mean, I'm new to YouTube too. I can't always see who likes and subscribes, or maybe I'm looking at the wrong part of my YouTube dashboard, but I definitely see you. I see you when you comment. So, A, if you got some value out of this, please like, subscribe because you're going to get a lot more of this. Next up, I am going to make a video about how to make that transition from the intro to the part of it, the main meat of this song, really work. And there's a rule, and I'll tell it to you next time. All right, take care. Peace.